Great morning. Thank
Good.
you for joining me.
Good morning.
Good. Great morning.
Welcome to the Ashes to Rubies conversational podcast on life and recovery and so much more.
A wee bit more.
So much more. So we're going to take a meditation, a reading that we do. So we read it, we reflect on it, we discuss it, and then we try to think about it through the day.
Mm-hmm.
What was yesterday? Cheater. Sometimes I really do reflect on it through the day. Like sometimes it really does.
It wasn't about simple.
Yes.
Yes.
But not easy.
Yes. That's what I'm going to be talking about today in our
Actually, that was Monday.
How many sermons do you remember how many sermons have you listened to? Maybe 20,000 from your childhood. How many do you remember?
0.
I think part of the spiritual life is absorption. And it doesn't mean that I remember them all the time. And maybe this is just me like eliminating guilt, but I think that there is a measure of just being in an environment and listening, and your spirit just soaks it up. Do you think that's true?
I think that could really be true.
Yeah.
Don't try to like remember everything or memorize everything or like take it on, but just allow your spirit to soak up what it needs to soak up.
Your spirit's going to get gold nuggets.
Remember what you need to remember. Yeah. I think that's really good.
Yeah.
That's really
your
good.
Spirit's just going to grab gold nuggets.
So we went to a marriage thing last week, and while we were there, you had a realization that we had an item in our home that we didn't really want in our house anymore because it had a negative.
We're going hard.
A negative association. I just thought this was an interesting thing to talk about publicly, just because, like, I don't know if other people would have.
I'm sweating.
Have experienced this. So it was the concept of.
We should wrap it up.
It was the concept of basically what I used to call guilt gifts.
But the concept itself in the teaching was about cleaning up your camp, cleaning up your environment, like even emotionally, like that's because we bring our baggage together. But yeah, even cleaning up your house practically.
So it was the concept of a guilt gift.
Have you ever given guilt gifts?
No.
Have I?
No, I'm more of a taker.
Have I ever given guilt gifts?
Yes, you have.
Like 1 or 2?
And
1,000?
So many. And so you're a gift giver. You love to give gifts. I remember when the guilt gifts stopped.
That might be wrong. I like giving a gift for a reason. I'm not just like gift giver, John. Like I'm not like Santa's great, right. But he does it on like Christmas. Right. I like giving gifts as for a reason.
But you get excited about opportunities to give gifts. So I do recall very, very, very well when guilt gifts stopped, and that was alarming to me at the time. I was like, oh crap, he doesn't feel bad enough to buy me like a crap present anymore.
Maybe that's not that. Maybe that's your perception, but maybe the reality was there's so much guilt that there's no gift that could ever even.
Right. You were also really out of control at that point, and like you didn't come home with money at that point, so there was no opportunity to buy a gift. Do
you want me to tell the story of the gift that God showed us that this is in our home to cleanse?
No, I didn't want to make a big deal about that, but I just wanted to put out there the concept for other people that are in recovery or are exploring like a new life. And the concept was about that the gift represented manipulation.
The spirit of manipulation. Yeah. And it was represented in the main part of our house.
Yes.
And so I really was spoken to about that. And on the way home, we stopped at a store, and the gift itself was a big, because you love tigers, was a big, massive sleeping tiger picture that was very expensive.
Was it?
It was, extremely expensive. So does anybody want, I will donate this big sleeping tiger to you. It is yours for the taking. So feel free to, if you're in the Ottawa region, I will get that to you. But the new gift, I saw it, I reflected on it. I was like, I think we need to have this. And so it's just a picture. Can I show people? This might get a little bit tricky, but
don't take it off the.
No, I'm not. I'm just going to turn.
Oh dear.
Okay. So that, my friends, what's the picture called, Vicky?
Jack and Diane.
Jack and Diane. So it is represented of two beautiful donkeys named John and Vicky. We haven't figured out what one the boy was, but it's very big. Like maybe the camera angle didn't give it
probably,
as bigness.
Yeah,
it takes up a whole wall.
And it's probably not in the right place.
I think it's the right place because it's replacing the spirit of manipulation.
Yeah.
And so I claim that you will no longer be under the spirit of manipulation in this house from me.
Thank you.
Cleaning up the house.
Thank you.
Man, I was
I know that was probably too much of a deep dive.
I didn't see that coming.
That's where we were going
Good
today.
stuff. Good stuff.
So, I'll read our meditation for today. Today is ours. Let us live today as we believe God wants us to live. Each day will have a new pattern which we cannot foresee, but we can open each day with a quiet period in which we say a little prayer, asking God to help us through the day. Personal contact with God as we understand Him will from day to day bring us nearer to an understanding of His will for us. At the close of the day, we offer Him thanks for another day of sobriety. A full constructive day has been lived and we are grateful. Am I asking God each day for strength and thanking Him each night? Meditation for the day. If you believe that God's grace has saved you, then you must believe that He is meaning to save you yet more and to keep you in the way that you should go. Even a human rescuer does not save a man from drowning, only to place him in other deep and dangerous waters, but rather to place him on dry land, there to restore him. God, who is your rescuer, would certainly do this and even more. God will complete the task He sets out to do. He will not throw you overboard if you are depending on Him.
So I think simply it's just about moving from grace, and grace periods run out. And so if you're somebody with substance abuse or relationships or whatever it is, your addiction, it's like God will give you grace, like a grace period of breathing room to take away that substance. It might be 2 weeks, it might be 2 months, it might be 2 years, but you have to move into the relationship. So that's what it's talking about, is this relationship day by day. It's not like sobriety day by day. That, like, people get that so off. It's like your sobriety should be none of your business. That's God's business. And so in recovery, it's a day by day relationship with God. I got to move from grace into relationship. And somebody in this food thing, I'm transitioning at some point soon to kind of balanced diet. And somebody says there's this concept of 80-20. And I was like, I've never heard of that. So like 80% of the time you eat very disciplined and structured, and then 20% of the time you kind of, whatever that looks like, you can, as long as you got this 80%. And I think my relationship with God has to be really even more than that. Like, it has to be a daily thing. I don't beat myself up. Sometimes on the weekend we change our patterns, but we do different things. I didn't, like, even while we were gone for that week, I didn't sit and do my prayer meditation and get all my instructions and that kind of thing. I did it very differently. And it was a lot more chill, and I was way more laid back and talking about donkeys and tigers. And I think that's what I get out of this, is like, yeah, am I trying to rely on grace too much and not on the relationship? That's my meditation, my thoughts for today.
Good.
What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think those are great thoughts. Those
are the great thoughts. Well, thank you.
Yeah, so I think that as we grow and learn to practice gratitude and to practice, like, asking is a really good way to shift out of the patterns of behavior that I'm not interested in participating in anymore. And so I can't will it. I can't, like, force myself to, like, be different or not do the things that I used to do. I actually can make myself spend time with God and practice gratitude and invitation.
In our meditation today, we actually just heard the story about a woman with a severe problem, bleeding for 12 years. And she reached out and touched Jesus because she had heard about this man, this walking miracle that has healed. And so, like, I think one of the things that stood out to me, are people hearing from me of what me touching the coat of Jesus did. And that word was more than just touch. It was fasten. It was hold on to. And so either Jesus is my healer and my restorer, or he is. I wonder if that story, like, what if in like a week later she started like getting back to where she was? I wonder if that happened. Or if it did happen, I wonder if it would even be in the story. I don't even know. That's an interesting question. I've never thought of that. We can unpack that later.
So right. I have an invitation for you. If this, I think that there's a lot of people out there who care about others. And so if you got this far and this was helpful for you or meaningful for you, or someone came to mind, you could send this to them. Because really the reason that we do this is because we are so grateful for life that we have today that we want to pass that on to others. And so it's not about us, but it's about the fact that there is a God who can change lives drastically. And so if you know someone who is struggling, or things are just really hard right now, and maybe they need encouragement, direction, you could pass this on to a friend who comes to mind, and you can subscribe, you can share, and if you know how to find places where you can review this podcast. I don't even know where you can do that, but I've heard that you can, because really it's not about us, but we do want to be an encouragement to others. There's a lot of people, we hear it all the time, that I have a friend who's suffering. I have it's heartbreaking. And so, we just want to be an encouragement to you. And if you need help, if you need more help, you can reach out to us any of the ways at Ashes to Rubies. Right. And we'll give you a link to our LifeLab.
Do it. Thank you. Pray or pray.
Right. I pray that I may trust God to keep me in the way. I pray that you may trust God to keep you in the way. I pray that you may rely on him not to let you go.
Amen. All right. If you've never been to a recovery meeting, now's your chance at noon Eastern time. I will be sharing on Simple But Not Easy. That's my title, correct?
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you at noon. Keep the peace, be of good behavior.